everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Drunkard's Walk. I am Jethro Nolan, who hopefully you recognize having listened to this podcast before. But if not, welcome. I am one of two people who make this podcast happen. And by two people who make it happen, one of them really makes it happen, and the other one is just kind of along for the ride. I'll let you determine which is which. The other person who plays a part in that algorithm is Matt Hartman. Say hi to the people, Matt.
Hi to the people, Matt.
Matt, between the two of us, who makes it happen?
I'm not going to say, because I don't feel like it's... I was once told that if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
All right. And that includes statements about yourself. So that's very...
that's right. It includes that too. Yeah.
Strategic of you to say nothing. So welcome, Matt.
For sure. Yeah. No. Well, welcome to you, Jethro. I'm so happy to be back here and to be walking once again.
Likewise. And here we are on the cusp of Thanksgiving. And
that's right.
I have to ask you, what are you thankful for this year?
Oh, gosh, what am I thankful for? Well, I'm thankful for my friends and my family. And but more so, I'm thankful for all of our listeners. I'll tell you, Jethro, it's all those listeners out there who come back week after week to find out where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. They are the ones that really make my heart continue to beat.
That's beautifully said, and a sentiment I heartily endorse.
Yeah. How about you? What are you thankful for besides our listeners?
I'm certainly thankful for our listeners, but in order to give a slightly different answer, I guess I'm thankful for all the random things out there, like the Archaeopteryx and the Montreal Screwjob and the Great Molasses Flood and the albino redwoods and all the wonderful places and things that exist that give us a destination in Wikipedia to go to. Because without those things, Matt, I don't know if you know this, we would not have a podcast.
No, that's absolutely true, Jethro. And you know what else? There's one more thing that I'm thankful for, and that is that where I live, there's just some great neighbors around me. I live in like kind of a suburban neighborhood type area right outside of Pittsburgh, and you're living in a neighborhood right outside of the town.
My neighborhood also has neighbors in it, so that's something that we have in common.
That's not going to give me enough information to figure out where you are. But you really got to give me something, man. You got to give me something to go on here, because I do want to know where you are, and I know you don't want me to know directly, but just some kind of clue, some kind of hint.
I will say this. So since we are about to celebrate Thanksgiving, which of course celebrates the completely factual and not at all biased interpretation of events when the Pilgrims and the Native Americans met and broke bread together.
Yes. Absolutely.
I will say that I do live in what the Pilgrims would consider the New World. That
is not particularly helpful.
What do you mean? That the New World really narrows it down. Or are you?
I understand globally that's true, and galactically even more so. But it doesn't. Like, I already knew that. I already had figured that part out.
Did you?
Yeah.
Had you?
I forget. There were other clues. Let me look at my pin board over here. There were some things about being able to buy alcohol, and there were things about driving
that takes
there.
Saudi Arabia out of the picture.
Yeah, right. So see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are things that made me believe. And plus, time zone wise, even though you have your curtains closed all the time, I can tell it seems night-ish over there. So that's how I can tell.
Again, that really narrows it down to half of the planet.
Exactly.
Because half of the planet is in darkness at all times.
But you're still awake, so it can't be too late at night.
But that is the amphetamines. Also, I do film this on a soundstage. So
so it's not even your house.
This is a set. No, this is all the production values. That's why all the Patreon money has to go to me, because I've got expenses between my meth guy and my soundstage guy. I really got a lot of bills to pay.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, then I will stop shaving some off the top, which I have been doing. So.
I tell you what, the Pilgrims had a destination, and that was to get to the New World and eventually do horrible things there.
Sure.
But we don't have a destination yet, do we?
No, we know where we're starting, because it's where we ended last week. We know that we have to get to our destination through the links on the pages in Wikipedia, but we don't know where we're going, Jethro. How will we determine this?
Well, if only there were a third person on this Zoom call who could tell us.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Jethro. There is a third person on this Zoom call.
What?
Yeah.
Is
There.
that who that is?
Yeah, that's Aaron Kleiber. Look, there he is.
TV's Aaron Kleiber.
You guys, I've been on this Zoom call this whole time. It's
Oh
very
my
awkward.
gosh.
Oh, wow. Thanks for being awkward with us, man.
Well, we appreciate it.
I was just scanning Zoom calls to see if I could expose myself into random business meetings, but I found you guys.
There's a lot of people that did that, I guess.
It's an app.
Although,
supposedly, I don't know.
I
think it's all
appreciate
urban
your
legend.
committing to the bit and being totally nude on the Zoom. So well done.
That is-
By the way, you are
That is impressive.
For all
are
you Patreon, for all you Patreon watchers, what a treat!
Oh yeah,
we have to digitize that out. Actually, we're not allowed to. We've got mixed ages and all sorts of things, so we can't show that.
Yeah,
but
we're really big in the youth demographic.
huge kids love listening to this show. They really get all of our references from the 1980s, 1970s.
Absolutely, yeah.
They love it.
I don't get any of your references. So
no, you wouldn't.
I know that's a lie
because you're so youthful. So how you been, Aaron? How was your pandemic?
I'm great, guys. Is it over?
Everyone's treating it like it is.
Well, you know what? It's been interesting. Because as people say that, you have to go through the timeline in your head and think, when is it? How long has it been? Because I have experienced not doing things differently than other people, because performing live and trying to film things on camera, as you know, some of you guys have done also, that when you do just that and it doesn't happen, it's weird. And it's weird how it comes back and when it comes back. And so live performing is a little bit different, post air quotes, post pandemic. But you know, hey, we're doing it.
What are the biggest differences you've seen?
I would just say it's absolutely more polarized in audiences and the people you meet, where the places you go. Mm-hmm. I've performed at places like, Wisconsin and places like New York in the last year, and Tampa and Birmingham and Las Vegas, and they're all very different people. And it's been a lot more, I guess, now. Like normally you could just be like, you could like guess which dad was like a gun toting, beer guy. Mm-hmm. But now people are yelling it. So now, like even in line when they're waiting to buy a t-shirt from you, you clearly know where you're at. You're like, oh, so Tampa. Wow. You know what I mean? It's almost like their cities are more audible now.
Yeah, you just need to have like a blue version and a red version of your set, so that you can easily cater to whatever the vibe crowd is.
That's the beauty of it. Everybody is annoyed at their kids.
There you go.
There you go.
That's my solution.
That's right. Now
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say for those that somehow don't know who you are, Aaron, tell the listeners what it is that you do specifically.
I mean, I guess at the top of the list, I say I'm a stand-up comedian and an actor or performer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I also now, speaking of the pandy, is there words for like it that people have those?
Sure.
Yeah, we're making it cool.
Yeah.
The demi IC. Come on, there's more. The COVID. No,
the COVID Chi, yeah.
The COVID Chi. Yeah, dude, it is a terrible organization. Oh my gosh. What was I going to say about that until I started trying to come up with different names? I will say though, like you fellas, a lot of people have adapted and evolved also in the last couple of years. People are starting podcasts and being creative in that way. I quit doing my podcast. It was opposite. I stopped doing all of my streaming content that I was doing. I don't know why, because I was doing it before then. But no, I began doing other things. Like I couldn't go write and perform on the road, so I started writing different things, scripts and pitches and ideas for things like that. And I now am trying to put a little more time into writing creative content I wrote and helped produce creative for like commercials in the last year for for products that you see in Target, and also like the Coach purse brand, which is the craziest thing to ever say.
I mean, that really seems on brand for you as Coach.
I know. Well, sitting here in my dad cave as a what am I? A cis white male, covered in I have Snake Plissken in the background, and but to write creative for Coach is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's
no, I get, no, it's fun. It's fun just writing things that I realize that you can, you like, how in comedy they always say the money's in corporate. You guys know, right?
Sure.
We've literally done corporate comedy together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's fun. It's like writing sketches for, a brand, and I don't care.
Yeah.
So,
I never thought of Coach as being particularly hilarious. Do they have some really funny ads coming, or that I mean, I also don't watch. I don't know where I would see those ads.
They had
the target audience.
They had a launch of purses that were kind of animated, like cartoons.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted some funny stuff. They wanted some more personalities written, and kind of a more fun thing. And I was lucky to be picked to be on creative, so that was pretty rad.
Nice.
So yeah, so just saying, like, to answer more of your question, just kind of evolving creatively, because realizing that you can't do stand up 45 weeks a year. Or, maybe after the pandemic, you don't want to. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's be funny.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Don't ask serious questions.
No, sorry. Never. No more of that. No more of that.
No.
Get that
Aaron,
out of here.
just really quickly, what are your thoughts on euthanasia? Like, is there a certain point at which life is no longer worth living? And should it be mandated by the state?
Well, as my grandmother once said,
put down that pillow.
Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
good
yeah,
times.
that's what I'm up to.
That's
if people are out there looking for you, do they just go to Coach's website, or is there something more specific to you that they can find?
Yeah, just my name. Like, if my name is in the description of the podcast, that's how you spell it. And I'm on, I'm all on all the social medias, the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the Twitters and the TikToks. Daddy's on TikTok.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We started doing that too. We have a Drunkard's Walk TikTok that because I started over the summer, and I was just kind of like, oh, this is actually there's some mildly entertaining things on here. There's some absolute garbage, but there's some entertaining things.
And you put on your podcast, and TikTok lets you always be contenting.
There you go.
Of business.
That's it.
There you go. Just don't say anything about Taiwan while you're doing it. Because,
I know.
Yeah, I guess not.
The Chinese government and ByteDance will not.
I posted some clips on my TikTok of like my stand-up special, and some of them like got flagged, and I did not know why, and it was like, I feel like there was words in it. They're like, I said breast, or like, I'm like,
yeah.
Like, there's like all these censors in China. Like, somebody raises their hand, they're like, I got one. They're in a room of like thousands of people, just thousands of cubicles,
just raising their hand over here.
Like, maybe that's why our numbers have gone up. We've got a lot of.
It could be.
To any Chinese censors listening to the podcast.
Yes,
hello,
they
welcome.
love it.
There you go. There you go. And a lot of them are kids. Talk about your youth in Asia. Okay. So anyway, Aaron, did you bring a destination for us for our walk today by any chance?
I did.
You did. What do you got?
Is this where I tell you?
This is it, or if you've got a preference?
No, I didn't. Well,
preface for it.
Well, it was funny because as you look through, the people talk about this. I've not heard. I've heard some episodes.
Talk about it.
But I wanted, so at first you think, oh, well, let's do something random, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know if you guys ever hit the random button as much. I don't know if because you just get people to do it. I love how that Wikipedia has a random button, but you get other people to do it for you. I love that. That is.
Well, why make an algorithm do it? We can have free labor.
Well, I'll tell you why you made the good call, because the random button is stupid. Okay. I was like, well, you know what? Just for the heck of it, let me hit random 40 times. It was out of about 40, I would say 12 were soccer players.
Huh.
Like, I was like, what? And then the only thing, so many worldwide things that I was just like, I did not know that was a country, things like that.
Right.
Which is amazing. It was like a Encyclopedia Britannicing while I was doing it. But there was nothing that I thought would be like, fun. So I thought of something that I randomly came across while I was Wikipediaing. If you're writing and researching, you Wikipedia a lot.
Yeah.
And I was actually Wikipediaing. Is that the verb?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I was Wikipedian. Oh, is it different from different states?
It is in different regions and things like that.
That's what I thought. So I was Wikipediaing this thing. So no, I was now I'm stuck on saying Wikipediaing. So I was looking up baseball maps. Okay. Old baseball maps. Isn't that fun?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. It's such a dad thing to do. You're in the basement. You have a bottle of whatever wine's left over from Christmas.
Sure.
But no. And I came across, looking through baseball maps, I came across this map that I found that I was obsessed with when I was in middle school. I found a book in my old middle school library, and it was one of the moments that made me obsessed with, like, at a young age, drawing maps and architecture weirdly. Right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I found out as an adult, like, what they were. I saw them and I was like, and so Wikipedia, like, enlightened me because I was able to find it through them. This is a Wikipedia commercial.
That's our whole podcast is.
So you're going to Wikipedia this, right? This is where we do this.
Well, that's what we're going to try to get to. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm suspense. We're going to be back to you after this. Okay.
Coach person.
No, I didn't get paid that much. Relax.
Yeah, they are definitely not our sponsor. So
what they're called Sanborn insurance maps. You guys are smart guys. You may have heard of them. I don't know.
Nope,
but
not me.
Yeah, so I think under Wikipedia they're under Sanborn maps.
Okay.
And they are from the 19th century into the 20th century, right? Yeah.
Okay, so what can you tell us about Sanborn maps specific? Like, are they all baseball, or are they
no
anything?
So what's cool is being from Pittsburgh, we all know it started like looking for the old Forbes Field in Pittsburgh and kind of seeing what streets were there, just being curious, or looking at other old Negro League baseball stadiums. I was looking at that stuff. And so when you start looking at maps that are from the early 20th century, the only maps that really come up, the only people that were drawing maps, and the only reason why they were the only ones drawing them is because they were so good that no other city needed to draw them. They were like, well, these guys do them. They are the Sanborn fire insurance maps. And crazy. I know. And I know it's so nerdy dad history. Everybody crack open your whiskey. I know there's dads right now. They're like, oh, my blood's pumping now. What are we talking about?
So they were created for fire insurance purposes.
Yeah. So there were like other, I know I got super into map history because of this company. So there were some fire insurance maps that were created pre-Civil War. And then this Sanborn company kind of bought out all the other ones. And so post Civil War, they just started being the company that they drew these fire insurance maps. That what they do is they basically for insurance or for building owners or even for real estate, it gives you a risk assessment of the neighborhood. So if you know that there's a barn full of hay behind this shop, you know that you're like, I don't know, someone drops a candle and your general store is gone. You know what I mean? Like, so it's as practical as that. And it basically, like, where are the nearest fire stations? Where are the nearest, apparently they started putting in, fire hydrants and all things like that. And they became the standard of big cities like New York, Philadelphia, like mapping systems. It's pretty rad. I don't know. I love that kind of design, and I love history, and it's some of my favorite things.
Very cool. So were they limited to a particular geographic center, or was it just like everywhere?
No, from what I understand, and the Wikipedia page is as big as they were, you'd think they'd be huge, but like every public library seems to have their collection of Sanborn maps from their city.
Okay.
and they're actually a lot more, I think, rare than you would think, because there's not many people that would have them. It'd be like the bank, the fire department. I don't think that there'd be I don't know how many people would wait. Sorry, I think it says they were up in 1936. They would get 20 to 60 volumes a year. So that was like different cities.
Okay, but it's not. It wasn't something that like just somebody in the public would just own. They wouldn't be using these maps to like get around. These were specifically made for institutions, essentially. From
what I understand, yeah.
Okay.
To determine which portions of a city were most flammable.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Actually, and it's funny finding out that Warren Buffett actually has something to do with Sanborn Company.
Oh. Really?
Up until the late 1950s, they kind of fell off hard. I guess their stock went down, and it looks like young Warren Buffett was one of the first people to. Buffett purchased 23% of the company's outstanding shares. Holy crap. That's a long time ago. In 1958.
That's fantastic.
That's crazy.
And when did they kind of start doing this? Was it like you said late 1800s?
It seemed like it was mid 1800s because
after the Civil War, you were saying
it got bigger after the Civil War because I guess rebuilding everywhere, especially like that after the Civil War too. That's probably when you see cities like New York and Philadelphia and all the big cities like get even bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. Of course, so that's kind of, and then what you find out is they were owned for so long. And their last update was in 1977. No idea what happened after that. And then the Environmental Data Resources Company bought them. So now they're all owned by I guess to be used by environmental data, which makes sense because they have, I guess some of them, they have like grades on them and I don't know where pipes and where buildings were for like soil testing and things like that. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So like if you're building at a place and you're like, why is this? I have no idea. I'm not a civil engineer, but from what I understand, that's how they use it. They're like, well, there was a huge brick building here. No wonder why, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Super
fun. This sounds so nerdy. This is the most unfunny I've been. I was just like, whoa.
Now, don't be so hard on yourself.
I was like, Aaron. I'm 60 now. No, I love it.
I've seen you far less funny than this. So
that's true. But no, this is like super dorky and I love it. It's art and history and I love it.
Very cool.
That's great.
Well, that's a fantastic suggestion.
It is. I've never heard of these. They do sound fascinating. I can't wait to get to the page. We have to try to get there from Gaga Ball. So
what's Gaga Ball? Wait.
Hey,
I didn't.
Yeah, you got to listen. You got to listen to. Because we record these in advance, so you haven't had a chance to yet. But if you listen to the listeners know, but you'll see in a couple weeks here. You'll be able to listen. But it's a sport essentially. It's a sport, and my daughter gave us the suggestion because apparently they play it at her summer camp. So there you go. You got to know about Gaga Ball.
Gaga Ball.
Yep.
My kids probably know about it.
They might.
Yeah,
super duper.
Yeah, I mean, instead of hitting random, I thought, something that Wikipedia gave me.
Well, that's wonderful, Aaron.
Always giving back. That's you, Aaron.
It is a fantastic suggestion, and it has nothing to do with our point of origin. I do have one final question for you, though. Are you drinking anything this evening?
Oh, good question.
We are a drunkard's walk, and so we'll have a little tipple sometime.
Well, this evening, since Comedy Club is not providing free whiskey, as comedians do, I filled up my Penguins Tervis cup,
nice,
with a little iced tea and rum. That's right.
Oh,
nice.
What do you call that?
Bus stop cooler. Little
is that
bus
what that
stop
is?
Cooler. Yeah, that's right. This is the transfer.
There you go, Jethro. How about you? Are you drinking anything?
I'm having a raspberry White Claw.
Oh,
because I'm bougie.
You are quite bougie. I'm drinking a whiskey, which is no surprise to anybody. This one though is actually a rye. blended with an Irish whiskey or Irish whiskeys, I am told, but Pennsylvania straight rye whiskey blended with Irish whiskeys. It's called Four Walls. It's a limited edition from Wiggle and the guys at It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So it says on here, this is the Better Brown, blended for bartenders.
That sounds actually really good.
A salute to the bar. So it's not bad. I mean,
I've never tried a mix like that. That's interesting.
It's a 90 proof, which is a little lower than I'm used to, but I'll make do.
Very nice. Well, excellent. Well, we cannot thank you enough, sir, for joining us and giving us this great suggestion. And we look forward to the journey and hope to see you in the not too distant future.
Yeah,
thanks,
thanks,
friends.
man.
I can't wait to hear the journey.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right.
Gaga ball.
Take care.
Bye.
Peace.
All right, Jethro.
All right, Matt.
Here we go.
We got one more thing to do. We got to write down our guesses in terms of the number O links that we think it's going to take to get us.
That's
where
right.
we're going.
So Gaga, I guess I said Gaga Ball. Technically, the article is titled Gaga to Sanborn Maps. And boy, I guess I'm going to write down a number.
Had you ever heard of Sanborn Maps before?
No,
Aaron
not at all.
Nor,
I'm wondering
I'm
wondering though if when I see them, if I'm going to be like, oh, those, I've seen that type, because I've seen a lot of different types of maps before, but I don't know what they're called or what, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything about them.
These sound like they're specifically used for fire insurance purposes.
Yes.
It's not like a relief map or something where, oh, that's a common type of map to show changes in elevation that is widely used.
Right. But he mentioned that he found them like in his library. And I'm wondering if I've just seen them like around in reference sections or something along those lines. I don't know. I mean,
it's possible.
I am guessing here, man. I
don't
have
so
a clue.
you've written down your number?
I've written down my guess. Have you?
I have indeed. Let's get to it. I will say that Gaga Ball has very few outbound links, and a lot of them go to Israel.
Yes. Well, the other interesting thing about this is we have to find a map, and we don't use geographical routes. So that's going to be really tough since a map is entirely geography. Maybe we'll make an exception just this once to go to maps. I'm saying map itself is geographical, and we have to get to it. So we'll make an exception for that.
But you can't. The irony is you can't point out a map on a map.
Oh,
because a map is not a geographic location; it is an abstract concept of a document.
But perhaps there are locations where there are like maps. Like think of like a Disney World. Okay, I'm not sure that this exists in Disney World, but let's say it's a Disney World. And what if in that particular type of location where the public goes and needs to know where they are, what if they created a map of maps so you knew where the other maps are? Like in a mall, don't malls often have like those standing little kiosks, and don't they tell you where the other kiosks are?
Now here's the question is,
maybe
why would you need a map of where the other maps are? Why not just put the information that the other maps have on the map that you're in front of?
Fair. Okay, I've got another example for you.
Okay, go ahead.
A battlefield where the map that you are looking at is only showing you a certain area, and it shows you where the other maps are, so that when you get to those, you can see the extended part of it and that area.
So let me, just so I understand the logic behind this completely made up idea, is that prior to a battle,
No. This is a battlefield like after, like if I go to Gettysburg today, right? I can find maps on the battlefield. And if I wanted to know where all of those maps were, I'll bet you there's a map that has those locations marked on it.
Again, the same principle of the shopping mall applies. Why not just have a map that has all of the information from those disparate maps? Because
there's more detail on those individual maps in the smaller area, right? Versus the larger map that shows you an overview. You can go to the particular map to get more detail.
Map.
Yes, map.
Map
department at your service.
You know what? I'm just going to let that go. So I found something that I think is interesting.
What do you like?
New York Times. So under the origin of the game section, there is the mainstream Gaga section. And it says in July 2012, the New York Times wrote that, to the surprise of parents who recall the game from their youths, Gaga is solidly mainstream. And New York Times is a link there. And now New York Times so I will say that I was very worried while Aaron was describing Sanborn Maps until he mentioned Warren Buffett.
Oh.
And then I got very, very excited because
I see.
I'm a big Warren Buffett fanboy.
Mhm.
I have no exaggeration, no lie. I've read every single one of Warren Buffett's letters as chairman of the Berkshire Hathaway Corporation.
Mhm.
And I am fascinated by that business and what he has to teach you about investment and capitalism and everything. I highly recommend that. Like it's the best financial education you'll ever get for totally free.
Mhm.
All you have to do is go to berkshirehathaway.com, and their comically basic website, like their website basically could have been designed in like 1996.
Okay.
Because it takes advantage of no new features of the internet that weren't present.
Just links.
It's so incredibly basic, it's ridiculous. But all of Warren Buffett's letters to shareholders are there, and it's a big, the way that it grew, it was an insurance conglomerate, which makes sense that he would end up buying Sanborn,
Sure,
because that is an insurance company. So I think Warren Buffett is a really potent way of getting in there, because
and the New York Times is connected to Warren Buffett in some way. Yes.
Well, I first of all, I think the New York Times is a newspaper in the newspaper business, and Warren Buffett bought up a lot of newspapers. He owns like the Buffalo Star, and he was good friends with Kay Graham of the Washington Post.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of possibilities through there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't mind it. I will definitely
Links
go
on this
through
page
it.
are like for Bob's Burgers.
It's true. Yeah, there's Bob's Burgers. There's Fad and Trend is linked on here. Fun and popular good takes you to a fad or trend, which is kind of fun, but I don't think it's going to help us. But what I do want to read real quick before we leave this page, because I think you're right. I think New York Times, Manhattan is linked on here, and I would think we could go through that, but again, we don't like geography, so I'm good with New York Times. But before we go, I have to read this little section of this page because
please do.
It answered some questions for me. It says in 2016 and 2017, Tablet magazine reporter Steven Silver wrote a 2-part investigation of Gaga's origins, sifting through the various theories and rumors that had circulated over the preceding 60 years. In the second of the 2 articles, titled, "Is the Mystery of Gaga Everyone's Favorite Summer Camp Game Finally Solved?" So this has been around for 60 years. Silver interviewed a 61-year-old native of Baltimore, Maryland, Steven Steinberg, who claimed to have invented Gaga in 1975 as a teenage camp counselor to 6-year-old boys at Camp Milldale, a Jewish community center camp in the Baltimore area. Now, here's my problem, first of all, is that if he invented it in 1975, why in 2017 are we saying that it's been around for 60 years? Doesn't make any sense. But here it says that Steinberg says he started the game for the same reason it's still played today at countless summer camps, to keep campers busy on rainy days. And contrary to the theory that the game's name derives from the Hebrew word meaning touch, Steinberg explained to Silver that during a moment of frustration with his campers, he told them that they, quote, all look like a bunch of babies, and that the children responded by chanting "Goo Goo Gaga."
That is an encapsulation of sarcastic children responding to authority figures.
That is
it's
exactly what
it is
what
also
a
great encapsulation of teens who shouldn't be given power, losing it over the slightly younger children in their care, which is what happens at summer camps. That's definitely true. That happened to me. I'll also never forget one of my first years teaching. I was teaching, and there was some kid was doing something wrong, and I was getting frustrated, and I said, "I'm getting really tired of this." And he said, "Well, maybe you should take a nap." And that was like one of the funniest things that I had ever heard. I couldn't laugh at it, but it was delightful. So if you're listening, a former student of mine who said that to me, well done. I thought it was very funny. Yeah, I was at a summer camp not too far from Houston, Texas, and one of the counselors got pissed at one of the kids, and there was like a center pole in the cabin. It was like a structural support.
Yeah.
And so he actually handcuffed him to it.
Nice.
Like for the night. And he was fired the next day.
I'm sure that he was.
Well, it's Texas, so
that's true. That's a good point.
It could have been like, walk it off.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So you
New
want to go
York
through New York
Times.
Times? All right. The
I
New York
like it.
Times it is.
New
We've
York
been there
Times it
before.
is.
So I will say
Have we?
we are
Have we?
returning, but
I did not know that. Have we?
we have. And I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember we had something where we were going through like the Washington Post because we were looking for music. The Washington Post March was on there. Something I don't remember where it was or when it was, but it's in there somewhere. If there's a way to search spreadsheets, I could find it, but I don't know how to do that. So
There is, in fact, a way to search spreadsheets.
There is? Is it a control
Yes.
F of some kind?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, let me type it in and see where it was. Oh, nope. I guess. Oh, wait. Does it only look on the sheet you're on though? Oh, it does. Here it is. The New York Times. When we were traveling from finite and infinite games to Roy Sullivan, we went through the New York Times.
Very cool. Well,
So
good to know.
Go. That's it.
Good.
I don't know why we thought that was the way to do that at that point. Oh wait, that was when. No, yeah, that was us. That was definitely us. Because I was going to say that could have been our wives doing that, but no, that was us. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. All right, so we're at New York Times, and now we want to. You think Warren Buffett is the way to get into this?
I mean, I think Warren Buffett is a great way to get in because it gets us to insurance. Like Warren Buffett's like claim to fame starting out was Berkshire Hathaway, which was basically an insurance company.
Right.
But that's what he turned it into. Like it was actually a textile manufacturing company in New England. He just kept that name, but he basically turns it into an insurance conglomerate.
Okay.
So I think that's possible. Although, we want to get a fire insurance. We can get there through Warren Buffett. Like I don't know that mapping is itself a way to get there.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't know. It sounds like it's certainly we could eventually get there going through maps, but if these are maps that were created for the purpose of fire insurance, I feel like insurance and or fire insurance is likely to get us there more efficaciously than cartography.
That's interesting. Because I was thinking if we could get through maps, it might actually be a faster way. But maybe you're right. I think your argument is sound. Although I guess I don't know maps like. I feel like these are well known enough maps, even though we don't know about them. I feel like in the world of maps, they would probably be pretty well known, right? Because he was saying that like they went on to kind of like places adopted these same structures to make the maps that they use today, right? So perhaps
I like how your argument is predicated on the idea that these things that neither you nor I, who let's face it, we're a couple of nerdy guys. We have never heard of these things, and you're like, well, they've got to be well known in map circles.
Well, I think that they probably are. I think that look, we're nerdy guys, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we know maps. What do you know about map? Do you know anything about maps? Are you a map guy?
I have been scarred by Dora the Explorer. So
that's a different type of map entirely. That map like speaks to you, man.
That song, I'm a map, I'm a map, I'm a map, I'm a map, I'm a map.
Yeah.
Is burned into my brain and has caused me to shun. In fact, to this day, I won't ask for directions for fear of.
Is that why? Yeah, is that why?
Well, also because I'm a man. So
we didn't.
I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man.
We didn't have a lot of that over here of Dora the Explorer, so I am not as I'm familiar with that particular song only because it just pops up in popular culture. But I did not have to deal with that quite as much as you did, so I'm not as angry. And I will ask for directions if I need them. But now I feel like with the advent of the GPS and the apps that get you there, Google Maps and things like that, I feel like asking for directions is really, unless you are out of a place that doesn't have service, you don't really need to do it anymore. So that's my thought on it.
It's true.
I'm looking through here. I don't see anything about maps. I don't see anything about insurance. I don't see anything about fires. And I've yet to see Berkshire Hathaway mentioned.
So I have seen numerous links to the Washington Post.
Yes, I have seen that as well.
Which give us a two-pronged path to Buffett. So Catherine Graham was the owner of the Washington Post for many, many years. Buffett eventually bought a big stake in the Washington Post. So he was a big shareholder for a long time. So the Washington Post will definitely get us to Buffett.
Okay.
Or through Kay Graham to to Buffett. Also, the Washington Post is currently owned by Jeff Bezos, who was briefly, although is no longer, the richest man on earth. And that is a title that was held by Warren Buffett until he started giving away tens of billions of dollars, which is the only responsible thing to do when you have tens of billions of dollars. Cough, Elon Musk, cough.
So you're telling, what do you think that he's listening out of curiosity?
Elon, yeah. I mean, we cast a wide net.
Big listener, of the podcast. I would
Although,
guess.
but between the time that we're taping this and the time that this is released, I'm sure that he will have ruined Twitter by now. So yeah.
Did he finally? Buy that thing?
According to the date of this recording, he's going to close on Friday.
Oh, okay. So well, there you go.
That'll be fun for everybody.
That's great.
Welcome back, Donald Trump. Yeah, that's going to happen immediately.
Super. All right. Well, let's not get too political, other than to say that is a nightmare scenario, and I'm upset that it's occurring. And my hope is that, and I think Drunkard's Walk might be leaving Twitter at this point. So, folks,
I think a lot of people would be.
Don't be looking for us on Twitter anymore. No. Not that we update all that often, but I think we'll probably be leaving that particular one. All right. So you're saying. Washington Post is the way to go. I'm
saying that is a possibility. I don't know.
Well, I'm not seeing much else on here that is better than that. Because I'm not, I mean, there's a lot of geographical things on here. There's a lot of, Times Square is talked about on here, and different places in New York are talked about on here. 41 Park Row, all sorts of locations. But I don't think that they are going to. First of all, they're geographical, and second, though, I don't think that they're going to have a link to the maps on which they appear. So New York metropolitan area is on here, but again, geographical. So I don't think it's a great way to go.
I mean, it's challenging having a map as a destination and not wanting to do geographical.
I was sort of hoping that there was going to be some reference to insurance. I see libelous and defamatory. And I was thinking like, would there be like anti-defamation insurance or anything like that? But that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So probably not.
There's a section for podcasts. Let's see if we're mentioned.
You're going to be disappointed.
I am disappointed. Yeah. I am disappointed.
Sorry.
Drunkard's Walk not listed.
Not mentioned.
We haven't yet been bought by the New York Times. Hopefully.
That's a good point. I'm sure maybe that happened between when we recorded it and when it came out.
There you go.
I see the Civil War on here. So it's possible, because he was mentioning how after the Civil War there was kind of that that uptick in mapping and things like that were going on in these cities. So it's possible, I guess, that there could be but I don't think so.
Aha!
Oh, what do you see?
So just above the podcast section, there is the Times reader section, which in and of itself is not particularly exciting. But in that portion is a Mr. Bill Gates who is linked.
Yes. Bill
Gates, again, like Warren Buffett, was the richest man on earth, but also Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are quite good friends. And when Warren Buffett started giving away his fortune, he pledged the vast majority of it to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think that we have any, there's no dearth of possibilities for getting into Warren Buffett here by any means. I mean, I think that the Washington Post would definitely get us there. If you want to go through Bill Gates, that's fine. I don't have, if we're going to Warren Buffett, which it sounds like we are, we could pick any of these, and I think that they're going to work for us. So
I just don't know of a better way to get to these maps.
No, that's fine. Let's go to. The real thing is, if he's not linked, right? If those aren't linked on his page, we're going to be in some trouble.
No.
But I don't know what else to do.
No.
Well, he's insurance, right? So we're going to be able to get insurance.
That's why he's a safe bet, because he gets us to insurance, and insurance we'll have 2 or 3 links down fire insurance and fire insurance maps and that kind of thing. You're right. All right. So which one do you want to go through? I personally like Bill Gates.
I thought you did. He's a big. You're a big Bill Gates fan.
Well, first of all, Yes, I am a Bill Gates fan.
That's great.
Not because I think he's an amazing human being. He's clearly got some flaws, but I do love Microsoft products. I'm a huge Excel nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that, taking your money and, this whole effective altruism idea of like taking your money and trying to do good, measurable good in the world is what billionaires should be doing with their money. And
I agree.
Been at the forefront of that.
So let's click on him. And I think once you do, you're going to be very happy, because you're going to see, first of all, that in March 2020, Gates left his board positions at Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway.
There we go.
To focus on his philanthropic efforts. But if you look further down, you'll see that in 2010...
Did you just slur philanthropic?
Philanthropic efforts on climate change and global health. In 2010, Gates and Warren Buffett founded the Giving Pledge, whereby they and other billionaires pledged to give at least half of their wealth to philanthropy. So Warren Buffett is linked right there at the very top of the article. You don't even have to go. You don't even have to get down to the part where it says this article is part of a series about Bill Gates. There are all kinds of things on here. He's the son of William H. Gates Sr. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. I did. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, he had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm sure there's a lot of interesting conspiracy theories that have spawned based off of that.
Yuck. So he's going to be on Twitter, is what you're telling me.
Oh yeah. They're going to let him back in.
Cool.
You want to try Warren? You want to go to Warren Buffett?
I mean, unless you want to look down real quickly through here and see if perhaps Sanborn maps are on this page, or fire insurance. I think that Warren Buffett's going to be the way to go. In fact, Warren Buffett, I've gone down the page. He's linked more than once on this page. So let's just go to Warren Buffett.
It is.
Warren Buffett, and I know that
Warren Buffett.
This is like getting to like when I got to Star Trek. This is your Star Trek, man.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Warren Buffett fan. I've learned a great deal from him, and I again highly recommend reading his letters to shareholders for a couple of reasons. Number one, they are good financial advice that is not painful to read. Like, he has a very avuncular and humorous style.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of jokes and sort of corny aphorisms that he uses repeatedly. It's just very easy to read. Like, there's no other company that I'd be like, oh yeah, go read all those letters to shareholders, because it's just going to be a bunch of corporate PR bullshit. But, Warren Buffett's letters are a great education in money, which sadly more people need to be educated in.
Well, it says here that he displayed an interest in business and investing at a young age, and he was inspired by a book he borrowed from the Omaha Public Library at age 7 called 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000.
Look at that. Yeah, he got started early.
Yeah.
He was definitely wired for this kind of stuff. And
he visited the New York Stock Exchange when he was 10.
At 11, he went to 3 shares of City Services preferred for himself and 3 for his sister, Doris Buffett.
He went to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, where he studied with Benjamin Graham.
Yeah, Harvard Business School, Columbia Business School. So there you go. So early business career. Whoa. Have you found something here?
I have found something. In early business career, in 1961, Buffett revealed that 35% of the partnership's asset were invested in the Sanborn Map Company.
There it is.
Huzzah!
There it is. Let's click on it. Sanborn Maps
and
is what it takes
us
you
to
to.
Sanborn Maps.
Yes.
Holy shit.
That's it.
That is incredible.
We have found it.
We have done it.
Unbelievable. I can't, I really did not think it was going to be quite that quick. It never occurred to me in a million years that we would have been able to get there. I'm glad that you noticed the Warren Buffett connection to newspapers, etc., because I would have been going through Bob's Burgers and trying to find all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But we didn't need to do that. We went from Gaga to New York Times to Bill Gates to Warren Buffett to Sanborn Maps for 4 links. That's all it took us, wow, Jethro, to get from Gaga to Sanborn Map Company. So did you make a guess that was anywhere close to 4? What did you guess there, buddy?
My guess was kind of close to 4 in that It was 4.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Once Aaron said Warren Buffett, I was like,
I guess
oh,
6.
you guess 6. You guess 6.
Son of a. So unfair that you know things. It just seems.
Listen,
it's not reasonable.
If Aaron had said that the Sanborn Map Company had been bought by Jean-Luc Picard, then you would have had the advantage, and you would have been confident enough.
I know that Jean-Luc Picard is a fictional person. You could have at least said like Gene Roddenberry or William Shatner or somebody real. You don't have to make it a fictional person. I'm not an idiot.
I don't know what you know. I don't know where your boundaries of reality and fiction lie.
Oh, they're blurred, often blurred. Well, this has been an amazing ride through here. I'd never heard of Sanborn Maps. I can't wait to find out a little bit more about them next week when we travel on. But next week, Jethro, I don't know if you know this or not, but this week, this episode that you're listening to right now, listeners, this is our 99th episode.
Oh my gosh!
Which means
that next week is our 100th episode.
The big 100. So in order to celebrate, we are going to make it a big old two-parter, a big old double episode. And if you've listened to previous seasons, you might know that means we're going to have the wives on here. That's right. We're bringing the wives back. Emma and Christy will be here, and they will be we'll be going old school here. It'll be Jethro and Matt versus Emma and Christy for episodes 100 and 101. So make sure you don't miss that. We'll be starting at Sanborn Maps and going off to who knows where. Who will we get as our guest for episode 100, Jethro?
Surely some huge celebrity, I would imagine.
My gosh, how could it not be? Or it'll be somebody that the listeners have never heard of before and that we happen to know from our lives.
There we go. That's also a distinct possibility.
It's a coin flip. It could be either one.
Really
but this is great. It's Thanksgiving, Jethro, so I'm thankful that I get to do this every week with you.
Well, and likewise, Matt, I'm thankful that I get to do this with you. I'm also looking forward to carving a little turkey and being with family, but mostly appreciating the relationships of lovely, creative, wonderful, fun, supportive people in my life, and I certainly count you among their number. So happy Thanksgiving, Matt.
Wow, you said that so much better than me. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here once again for Drunkard's Walk. A big thank you for listening. And of course, a thank you to Jesse Ali for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork. You know, we thank them every week. And we thank you every week for listening. We always ask you to give us a rating or review on iTunes or wherever it is you're listening to this podcast. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell anybody you like about it if you are so inclined. And hey, if you'd like to give us a little bit of financial support, you can do that at our Patreon. And you can find the links to all of the things that you need for Drunkard's Walk at our link tree. That's linktr.ee/drunkardswalk. We would love to have some suggestions from you. If you want some merch that has our name on it, you can go ahead and get that over there as well. You can head over to our website, which basically just has all of our episodes listed on it. Get to that Patreon I talked about before. And you know what? We'd love if you check those things out. And we also love to hear from you. So go ahead and reach out to us. Let us know if you have a better route maybe than we took, or find us on social media and do that. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. We're all over the place. So anyway, thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next week for episode number 100.